Yo, welcome back to the lunch table, Food for Thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Make sure you hit that subscribe button at the bottom left-hand corner. Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio app, and we're trying to get our asses on Spotify because that's where everybody listens to their podcasts. But when that day comes,
yes, sir,
you will definitely know. My next guest, I've probably known him for about 3 years now over the internet.
Yes.
From Marietta, Georgia. Let me go over his a lot of his accolades, man. A couple albums and projects out before the quarter. I got on him when he released Quarter Life Crisis.
Classic.
Woke Up to Summer. Classic. Most recent.
Woke Up to Winter.
Woke Up to Winter. My bad. See, I'm already jumbled because I'm already thinking about the next song.
They're coming.
Spring Breakup.
Spring Breakup.
New song out now called Hot Boy Summer.
Exactly.
A bop.
Wow.
Formerly known as Submit.
Whoa.
He goes by.
Whoa!
He goes by the name of Kelechi. What's poppin', bro?
Long time. Hey. Very long time.
Bro.
Damn, I haven't even, that. I haven't heard someone new call me, not new, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, someone tell me.
Submit?
Oh, Submit.
To be fair, I literally just found that out, I don't know.
Found that out?
Like a couple minutes ago, or maybe an hour ago, because what had happened was I was going through your YouTube, and then I saw a video of you and Faye. And then it was the one where there was pop-ups in the bottom left about facts, and I was like, wait,
that's so funny.
Submit. Wait, Faye also used to go by Pharaoh? This shit is crazy. I was like, this is crazy.
Damn, that's so tight. That's hilarious.
Yeah, bro, I had to do a little bit of research, man.
I appreciate it, man.
But I think I first got on you when you had that Sway in the Morning freestyle.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and that was about 3 years ago. And it's
yeah.
Ever since then, the lunch table's just been showing mad love to Kelechi
really
from a long way.
Have been showing a lot of love,
and I'm just happy to see you grow and foster and create music that I feel is extremely timeless, bro.
I appreciate it, bro. Honestly, I don't know, whenever I look at artists that are cool, when I say cool, are at some level of admiration that I have or that people respect. It's always they just never quit. They would do all, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even the journey that we've been on up until this point is just I don't even think of it as being as long as it's been. It's been a long time since I did Sway, and it's I'm just not coming to the realization damn, we've been through a lot of shit since then.
Well, because you think about Sway in the Morning being one of the largest accolades for real MCs. Mm-hmm. People who can actually spit,
exactly.
right?
So so when people saw that I was new and got there, people were oh yeah, he's on. This is it. This is it was people expected it to come really soon. And I expected it to come really, really soon, right after that. So, yeah, I didn't even realize how.
Well, but then I guess, after doing an accolade like that, you come to realize that one is just one of many. Because, I think you got that because of, the Mountain Dew contest.
Well,
or,
yes and no. Yes and no. Yeah. So, and thing is, I always note that time as, when I, got into the industry. Not necessarily
when you were popping or something.
Exactly, because there's a difference between just being in the industry and then being a popping artist. You know what I'm saying? And being at that level. I think that being in the industry, just being around, and that was the first time I started being around shit. That's you know what I'm saying. So that's why. So it kind of correlates with the Mountain Dew thing in the sense that my homie was doing. Well, he's my friend now, but we met because he was doing PR for Pepsi at the time.
Okay.
And he'd heard of me just through Mountain Dew, Pepsi. It's the same thing. And he had been doing stuff with Mountain Dew, blah, blah, blah. And he just heard my story through what happened with Mountain Dew. And then we just got cool. You know what I'm saying? So then, exactly. Okay, so the relationship was totally organic, but it did happen because of the Mountain Dew thing. So, my homie who was doing PR for them, he was cool with Sway because of an event that he did PR. I think it was Jordan Brand. It might have been Jordan Brand.
And he was yo, you need to fucking Kelechi.
He was yeah, exactly. So, and because they had an organic relationship, and I hadn't, that's why it was so cool. That's why me and Sway, it was all really cool. It wasn't nothing about it was industry at all. It was just good people. Everyone was good people. Oh yeah, fuck with you.
I mean, that's honestly the best way everything can happen, man. Because I literally could have been that guy emailing you back and forth yo when you in LA, when you in LA, because you were actually in LA maybe 2 years ago, and then when we missed that mark to meet, I was you know what, the next time is gonna happen, and you know what I mean?
It'll just happen, and that's I don't know, the more the more I just like kind of look at life, and not just in music, but like life in general, like you very rarely have to force it, you know.
Yeah.
And when it comes together, it'll come together at the right time. Everything always happens right on time.
100%. And you know, like back to the point is that like you do Sway in the morning, and then you're doing like a shit ton of festivals, performing like countless times, man. And then you kind of still, I can only imagine you still feel like you're not quite there yet, or but you're always like inching closer.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't happen all at once. You know, you think it happens all at once when it happens from the outside, but like when you're the one going through it, it's one little thing after another, and then you look back and you see how far you've come. But like at a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like you never really know when it's happened for you. I still don't know if you know what I'm saying. Everyone else will tell you
that
when
it's
you've
happening.
made it.
Yeah,
you're not gonna know yourself because you're just doing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, granted, like I think unless you have like a smash record, like how like Blueface or Lil Nas X popped out, you know, that's when you know.
Can like know. Yeah.
But like I feel like
that,
like if you're grinding so hard, you kind of just get lost in the sauce and saying like, you know, like am I really like where I'm supposed to be or where people like put me in right now?
Who knows? There's no way to know.
Do you get wrapped up in your head about those thoughts a lot?
Yeah, a lot of times. But like then sometimes like so
it's whatever.
Like like you get into it like, man, like I'm not, man, like I'm supposed to be with this person, I'm better than him. You can do that and you can just drive yourself crazy. Or you can just be like, look, it's gonna happen for me right on time when it's supposed to happen for me. So
well, I think like if you have that conscious mindset, you know, a lot, that's when you start getting into battle mode and you start putting yourself on the same like wavelength as like a Blueface or like a Lil Nas X, like, I need to start making like a country smash song. I need to start making like a, you know, like a West Coast record. But I think when it comes to you, like, you know, like I think people might want to draw comparisons with you to like Wale, for example.
In the same like lane, I get it.
In kind of like the same lane, but it's just like your music is so just like different to the point where it's like you can have like, you know what Kelechi's sound is like, you know what Wale sound like, and it's like, you know, dispelling all the thoughts of like, I need to pop off now, I need to do this, I need to do that, like, is what really maintains you to be Kelechi.
The wild thing is we were just in Chicago. I was just having this conversation with Pat, and he was just talking about how like some artists will chase a wave, like, this is what's cool, gotta do this is what's cool. But like, if you're a company and or a restaurant and you make wings, don't start making sandwiches because chicken sandwiches are hot right now. Yeah. Because Popeyes, you know, because you feel me? But you understand, like, just because chicken sandwiches are what's popping right now, and you make wings or you make fucking Reuben sandwiches or whatever, you know, like, don't switch because this trend will change. Whatever's going on will change. Exactly. It always changes. We always need a new person telling us to turn up. We always need a new person. You know, to
put us on like that conscious level or whatever.
Everything is always changing. So if you're always trying to do something that everyone else is doing, you'll always be behind. Yeah. All you can do is do you and wait for what's going on to be what you do. To be what you do. And that's going to become the coolest shit ever one day. Man. Because it's always different. The coolest shit ever is always different. It doesn't make any sense to try to chase it. You'll be behind. Yeah. You know, you just got to do you. Eventually it's going to come to you.
Look at that, man. We're 8 minutes in, and you already dropped the gem for these motherfuckers, man. That's all I'm saying.
You got to pay, man. Y'all niggas should pay me, dog.
Let's switch it up a little bit, man. So, like, growing up in, like, Marietta, Georgia, what was that like for you, man?
It's cool because it's, like, I mean, either a small city or a big suburb, whatever kind of way you want to put it. It's, like, right on the border of Atlanta and like the north border of Atlanta. Okay. And, no, it was cool. It was, like, I grew up just, like, I don't know. I feel like I grew up like
normal,
kind of normal, but kind of I was just weird. Me by myself was weird. Yeah. But like my upbringing is so weird because it comes from so many places. There's like Atlanta influence. There's like Nigerian influence. There's like Southern, like conservative white Christian influence. Because of where I was at. Like I have a lot like of different things that just kind of made me who I was. So,
did your parents were you born in Nigeria or were you born here?
I was born in Marietta. Yeah, but both of my parents were Nigerian. They came in like in the 80s and then started having babies here. So.
Are you one of like many? Oh, well, Yukon's your brother.
Yeah, exactly. 4. It's 4 of us.
Damn.
Yeah. I have 2 sisters. So it's 2 boys, 2 girls.
And Yukon's actually your manager too.
Yeah. My brother is my manager.
Shout out to Yukon,
Shout out to Yukon over there looking ugly. Just ugly as ever.
He got the suede ass shirt going on right now, looking velvet? Like we in the 90s. The velvet.
What is that velvet?
So then, did you grow up with like a musically like inclined family?
No one playing any instruments. Like no one really. Like my dad liked music. He was really into like playing music in the house. That was the thing that he did. But like, I can't remember anyone actually like. I will say my dad harmonized, which was, and not that necessarily that means he's a professional singer. But some people, when they listen to music, they have a natural ear for harmony. Mm-hmm. And hearing that at a young age helped me out. My younger sister's really good with harmony, but like I'm pretty good. But like other than that,
so your dad must have been like hella good at karaoke then.
He would be. He honestly would be. My dad's like a Nigerian Dennis Graham, like Drake's dad, but like a Nigerian version of him. Just like he's
I see
tight.
that.
He's
did you ever put your dad on like some of your music? Nah, not really.
You know, I tried once, but like it wasn't.
It just wasn't working.
It wasn't the wave. He's not a rapper.
So then, when do you start actually like rapping? Was it in middle school, high school?
It might have been 8th grade, like when I was 14. So yeah, 8th grade. So 13, 14. We started out in. Me and you kind of like two of our other friends were in like a rap group. Okay. So we started off in a group.
What was that called? I gotta ask.
You're not gonna I might not give you that.
He's like, this motherfucker started off with submit. I can't give him the rap group.
You know what I'm saying? That's the line. That's the like far back line I'll give people. I'm not. Only Nardwar can get that. Only Nardwar can get that.
If he figured that shit out, I'm like, yo, God bless
exactly.
his soul.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past him. But so we were in a group, and I just always took it the most serious. You know, just like the first song we made was literally just us playing around. One of my homies had like some audio equipment on their family's computer, and we just messed around and made like a song. What was it? It was like a Mario, like we were all different but we were all different Super Mario characters, and everyone else was rapping like that, like they were in a video game, but I was just rapping like I was a rapper, like I'm taking niggas' heads off.
Damn, so you
like
fucking
doing like, you know what I'm saying? Because I just wanted to be a rapper. I just thought it was cool.
Cultivated the video game rap. All the way back
probably.
Then.
Yeah, that was a long. That was
8th grade, bro.
07 or something. Yeah, super long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you were the one who really took it serious.
I just cared. Like I just like cared about making it. I felt like I sucked for a really long time, and it was very frustrating to me. But like, I knew I sucked, and that was the most important part. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew I wasn't as good as I wanted to be in my head. Okay. Which would make like pushing.
Made you hungrier.
Exactly, in a weird way. So like, I just cared the most. It made me like get into producing because I didn't want to ask people to get beats. I didn't want, made me get in and like.
But you wanted to be self-sufficient.
Exactly.
And you recognize that at a young age.
I didn't know I wanted to be self-sufficient. I just didn't want to talk to anybody. Like, I just didn't want to ask people for beats. I just wasn't socially good. I just wasn't good at being social yet.
A little bit antisocial.
Yeah, a little bit back then.
Yeah, because then you sound like the guy who's like super close with like, you and like your 3 homies. But then like kind of outside of that, it's kind of like, whatever.
But you know what's funny? I have my like very close friend. I'm super friendly. Like if you got like people who are close to me, like I think I'm like too open almost. Like I'm really friendly. But like.
Well, not open enough to give us the rap group name.
But like at the same time, like I just like I don't have a lot of friends. Like I have my few friends, and then like everyone else, I'm just like, oh, I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't think anybody has a problem with me. So
yeah.
But yeah, like I didn't want to like I wasn't social back then. I had like barely any social skills. So I was like, well, I'll just make the beats, and then I'll just engineer, and and then it became self-sufficient, but. Just turned out. Yeah, it started out because I didn't know. I just was like, oh, I'll just do it because I can, or I can figure it out. If someone else figured it out,
well, it's kind of like a cheat code, man. Like because I've seen videos of like Swizz Beats, son, like going in on the production side, and I'm just like, damn, man, like they're starting off their kids.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Even like Billie Eilish is like 100%. 18, and like her younger brother's like 16, and I'm just like, dude, starting off at that.
Starting
age,
off early is I mean, think about it. Like if you can put your kids in like baseball camps and football camps at like 5, 6, 7 years old, they're gonna be way better than
somebody who starts at like 14, 15.
So it's the same thing with making music. Like if they have a passion for it, and the younger you cultivate it, the better you'll be earlier.
It's so crazy because we do have the basketball, like all sorts of camps. I was put in Taekwondo when I was a kid. I actually got some gold medals, slight flex.
Hey,
you did. But like, when I was younger, I don't think there were like music camps. You know what I mean? There was nothing.
There are now.
There are now.
Yeah, definitely. I actually went to this event for this. There's this foundation, and it's actually in LA. It's like LA and Atlanta based, called Girls Make Beats.
Yeah. Dope.
So, and I went to one of those events, and it was like there's this camp for girls to learn how to produce, which is tight. Like that's a thing you can do now because we've understood that in the same way there's an economy around sports. Mm-hmm. There's an economy around music, like especially around urban music, especially around people who are producers and like creatives in that sense. Well, let there be some schools for like some,
I mean, I think corporations are starting to look at music the same way they do like the MLB or the NBA. And if you can kind of like, if you can look at the younger kids in a sense and be like, oh, they're probably looking at these kids like, yo, we can make money off of them way later on. It's an investment for the corporation.
And I mean, money is amoral. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not immoral, or it's just, but it's like at the same time they're investing in these kids' futures, and the point to where it's like they have something to do. You know what I'm saying? They're being creative. Like kids are finding their passions earlier. So it's like it's.
So let me ask you this: like, where do you see the advantage? Because like, 10, 20 years ago, there weren't too many like rappers that you can count, right? But nowadays, there's like way too many where you're just like, there's a little broomstick, there's a little everything, you know what I mean? So it's just like, but nowadays we see that there's like the music production classes, girls make beats, so on and so forth. Like, so where do you feel like the advantage is? Do you feel like it was more advantageous to be born like back then when it was like so limited, or now when there's like so much to like teach?
I feel like wanting it to be the way it was back then is kind of for lack of better words, it's like a loser mentality almost. Like there's more people now, and a point that I'm always making that we just talk about, like me and my brother and like Faye, we're always talking, man, there's so many types of people. Like, there's so many different kinds of people just on the planet. And it's not only just races. It's not only just religions. It's not only just like political.
Comes down to personality
types.
Yeah.
And, like there's so many different.
Horoscope.
Exactly. Exactly. Your zodiac sign. There's so many different types of people. Exactly. And in the sense that there's so many types of people, then like, because society is advancing in the way that it is, there needs to be so many kinds of music. There needs to be lots of types of music because like I'm an internet kid, but I'm an old internet kid. I'm 28, so I'm kind of old when you think about it. Because
we were kind of on the cusp.
We remember when there wasn't, when
we remember when we had dial-up.
Exactly, or we even had a little bit of a childhood with no internet at all. You know what I'm saying? But now there's kids who do not know a world without the internet.
Yeah.
So like, kids born in 99 are probably totally different than kids born in 2000.
2?
Yeah, 2003. And think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Christ.
And they're all...
Because an 18-year-old is 2001.
Exactly. An 18-year-old was born in 2001,
Christ.
And that's a legal adult. And they're probably so totally different from my sister, who's like 24.
Yeah.
And totally different from me, who's only 28. 8 years between all of us, and we're all like 3 totally different generations. So that's when I say there's so many types of people.
Christ.
That's the shit I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There needs to be this many types of music.
So I guess for you, like, how do you depict what your target audience is? You know what I mean? Because it's like, even if we break down you, like on the surface, it's like Nigerian from Georgia.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is like 28 years old. Like, how do you decide what your target audience is?
I think it's just like people who are realizing that there are so many different types of people. You feel me? And like that's like the understanding we're coming to. It's like a human race. Like we're all like coming to the understanding. Shit. It's like there's no prototypical way to become you and to grow up. You know, because like there's like no right way to be like black, or there's no right way to be African. Yeah. There's no right way to be Asian. There's no right way to be you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many. So like as we kind of move forward, we're gonna realize, oh, like man, everyone is different. Like everyone, exactly. You know, you see what I'm saying?
I see 100% what you mean.
Anyone can be a Kelechi fan. Like you don't have to be college age kids at Morehouse in Atlanta. You know, you don't have to be black and from Atlanta to like my music. Even though I make music like a black person from Atlanta, because that's just what I am. But I'm also 100% African. Yeah. And 100% black. Like you come to find out that people are like.
Well, that's
400% why 500% person.
That's why even if we like break it down, like like you're Nigerian, and also like Manny Wells is Nigerian too. Exactly. Like Manny Wells is just very much on like that.
Shout out to Manny Wells. Shout out to Manny. That's a genius.
But you know, like he's more so on like that soulful side. Yeah. Still Nigerian. Even if we look at like Jadena, right? Like Jadena shit is like very political.
Yeah, and it's political and it's very very intentional. Like Jadena's very intentional, very pointed, and you always get what he's trying to do with what he does. And like, but you would think we had similar.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you're all Nigerian, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
Different.
Like, yeah,
we're so different. Like a Jadena fan might not necessarily be a Kelechi fan, but also there is some crossover. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely some crossover in the same way with Manny Wells or Wale. Wale's Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's different. There's so many kinds of people.
It's so crazy, man. That's why you can't even like categorize something as like Nigerian like hip hop or like Nigerian music. Like, there's no way to even like categorize that. I got you, man. You want more water?
Yeah,
I got you, man. No, we're just gonna do.
I don't want to. Yeah, I want to. Like, the flow of the conversation was going so well. I didn't want to break it. There
it's all good, you know. Y'all actually get to see the little the filter that I got.
Fire. I guess I need to get a little water.
It's all good. I totally understand because you're talking your ass off.
Exactly. And we smoked earlier, so like, you know.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So when do you actually get to meet Faye? Because like I was put up on your music first, and then I found Faye like through you.
Me and Faye were friends in 7th grade. We were in the same English class, same homeroom. Like,
that's a long time, bro.
Wild, yeah, it's crazy.
That's a long time.
And yeah, that's my best. Like, it's not rap shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because even like Faye just tweeted today, like, or the other day, like, he was like, Kelechi's in LA. I'm not in LA. Like, just because Kelechi's in LA doesn't mean I'm in LA. But because
people
it's
associate you guys
because people
so
associate
much.
us so closely, they think we're the same human being. But like, it's not music shit.
Yeah,
it's like that's
you guys
just
have
my
just
that's
literally
my
been
friend.
friends
This
for
is
a
my friend.
long
Yeah,
time.
and we just happen to have the same job. That's really it. Because like he's way more like. I forget that he's a rapper. Like, I know he's a rapper, but like he's not like Faye the rapper to me. It's just like sometimes I'll be listening to my music, like listening to Faye's music, and I'll be like, yo, who is this? It's fire. Like, who is this? This is fire. Like, I don't know him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like two totally almost separate relationships, but like intertwined. But yeah.
Well, you know, I know you definitely got into the music scene before he did, because I think when I interviewed him like fucking 3 years ago, he was talking about how like he ended up going to like Georgia State, went to college, did the whole 9, and he was saying that you were like rapping like throughout that time.
He was too. So he had started, and like this is me attempting to tell his story. Like he would tell it better than me. We had both in high school, like 10th grade. Like I had always been making music, like I said, from like 8th grade on forward. And then he just knew that about me. Him and some of his friends started making music, and then like we like made diss songs to each other, just like messing around. But like after that, we just started making music together, and that was just like what we did. All like that was like where our friendship cultivated from. And then we, you know, so Faye had always made music from 10th grade until the end of college, until like his last couple semesters, and then like I think there was this like huge pressure to like get his shit together and graduate, and then after that, huge pressure to like get his shit together like with jobs and like just like regular life shit. And I think that, but that whole time I was making music.
But yeah, so you know, like what kept you wanting to just like pursue music like from high school, like going through college and all that? Like, did you have like any aspirations of getting like a college degree type job afterwards?
I never even thought. I never even thought I would get a job. I never once was like, oh, yeah, like, not even once. It was just, I was doing it. Initially, I went to college to just make my parents not be mad at me. That was it. That was the whole reason. And then I think initially, I was just like, I like signed up for classes and shit, and I was like, I'm going to be famous before I even have to graduate. It's not even a big deal. I'm just going to do this on the side while I'm doing music just to keep them happy. That was my thought. Like, that was like my like arrogant mindset about it. And then it, you know, I just kept going. Like, I would always neglect school to be doing music. It was just where my attention would go. Like,
so then did you graduate from college?
No.
I dropped
out 3 times.
Like
I dropped in and out. Like I dropped out.
That's crazy.
Because I just was never honest with myself about what I wanted to do. I was just being like, nah, like when you give that safety net away from yourself, when you take that safety net away, like, oh, I'm not. If you're like, oh, I'm in school, but like I be doing music on the side.
Yeah.
You're not gonna put 100% of your energy into it.
You're literally putting 50%.
Exactly. So, you know.
Wow, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
You dropped out fucking three times. So then when
Like,
was that? So then, you know, obviously it was the third time when you realized, like, you know,
it was UConn. Like, he had to talk with me. He was like, bruh, you're not going to do school. Like, literally, you're not going to do. Stop lying to yourself and stop lying to everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was just like, yo, like, do music. That's what your energy's going towards. Because, like, that's what we want to do. You just want to put your energy into something and get a kickback.
Mm-hmm.
If your energy's going into that, bro, just do it 100%.
And how did you see, like, that transition? Like, when you transitioned from, like, you basically said, like, fuck school, I'm focusing on music. How did you see, like, I guess your music career, like, escalate afterwards?
It wasn't, like, immediate.
Of course.
I think it was just, you're not playing no more. It becomes serious. It literally becomes do or die. If you want to do this and nothing else, then you have to do this or you will die.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just kind of what it is. It's like you're going to do it or die trying. Get rich or die trying. You're going to do those things. So I think that just allowed me to tap in, you know what I'm saying, to just lock in differently because that's what I cared about. And, of course, I had jobs. Like, I worked.
There it is.
Yeah. I had jobs. It wasn't like it's just like I dropped out.
Yeah.
No, I had jobs. You have to eat food. Like, you have to
Well,
keep
you got to
a roof over
fund your
your
own
head.
career.
And you have to fund your career. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had the luck of, you know, a combination of luck and, like, developing the skill of engineering and producing. So that saved me money. And I give a lot of my credit to, and, yo, I figured out how to, like, graphic design. And I figured out how to, because in high school, I took these classes. You know what I'm saying? So I had these skills.
You set yourself up so
I had no idea I was setting myself up. I was just living. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, I can save money on cover art. I can save money on production. I can save money on studio time. Like, and I can just live and, you know what I'm saying? But, like, that's what worked for me. Like, you got to do whatever's going to work for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it's like, see, now I'm looking at your story, and I can only imagine that it's making hella motherfuckers who are, like, in their mid-20s jealous. It's kind of making me jealous, if I'm being quite honest. Because
I think
because like in the sense of just like damn, like because you literally just gravitated toward the things that you liked when you were younger, and then harvested the fruits of your labor and later
just,
on.
Yeah, and put in whatever skills from each thing
when you needed it to.
And I just put it into the thing I really cared about, which was music,
Yeah.
and that's what it was. I took graphic arts in high school, like, you know, and like even I designed like our websites and stuff like that, designing websites. I learned that. I just took journalism in high school. So like that, like knowing layouts and like shit like that, I just, you know, it just lined up really well.
So between like, I want to get back to the journalism too, by the way. So between like all your projects, all the production, and obviously the lyrics, like how much of that is like all you?
At the very beginning, it was 100%. On Before the Quarter, it was like very close to 100%, and then like UConn will come through with some like very important key, like 2 or 3 changes that are like, I'm really glad we did that. And then like I'll work with different people, like, but like I usually do production wise, percentage wise, I probably do like 60%. As far as the choices though that get made, it's like it's all me, creative choices.
Yeah.
Like everything will filter through me. But production wise, like Before the Quarter was like I think like 50-60%. So. Yeah,
that's a lot of fucking work, bro.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Kudos to you, man.
I don't even feel like I work that hard, though, which is funny. I really don't. It doesn't feel like it's hard work because it's just like shit I like doing or like that I don't mind doing.
Yeah.
For the sake of getting it done, you know, you just gotta be able to execute and get shit done.
Going back to your journalistic background, right?
Hey.
It kind of makes it makes sense to me why like you're always on top of like a lot of topics that are like spreading around the world. Like one thing. This was kind of a clever question when I thought about it. And I'm just like, oh, like, well, Kelechi does like to, not vape, but you like to hookah a lot.
I do, yeah.
You like to hookah.
Yeah.
Like, every time I hop on, like, your story and whatnot, it's like hookah.
Yeah.
So, like, what are your thoughts on, like, the vape ban that's been going on for, like, the past week or two?
I think it's funny. I think that shit's so funny. Because it's how many people died? Like...
It was like 3.
Like 3 people
3 within
died.
like the past week or so.
And this is a national emergency, people.
it's like
we got guns though.
we got guns, bro.
Niggas got like war guns. Like regular people have soldier guns. But yeah, I mean, if 3 people die from vapes, you know, this is how I see it. Vapes are an unnecessary part of society, and if they are unsafe, I'm glad we removed them from society. Maybe there are some other unnecessary parts of society that should be removed from society because maybe them existing in society is unsafe. That's how I feel about the vape thing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm literally on the exact same boat, bro.
Because
Because like, you know what I mean? Like, granted, like this year we've just had like so many like mass shootings happening.
It's the wildest shit ever.
It's wild, bro, because then we're looking at like this vape situation. It becomes like a worldwide epidemic. Like, you know, honestly, like rest in peace to the people who have passed away from like, you know, from all that shit. But it's just like you look at like the grand scheme of
Sorry,
things.
I almost said that my thoughts and prayers go out to vape victims, and I shouldn't say that. And I didn't say that. I didn't say that my thoughts and prayers.
Didn't say it.
I did not say
record,
my thoughts and prayers
go
go out to all vape victims. I didn't say that.
But you know, I think where we are in like this political climate in the world, like we look at like very small things to pinpoint.
It's
like
wild.
things that I guess we just look at like very small things to pinpoint, and then like when we look at the grand scheme of things, it's like there's so many more things that affect much people.
Larger. But I think that people are attached to the way things are, and I think that the instability we're feeling in society right now is coming from like is coming from a bit of a like a just kind of surge of things are changing.
Yeah,
things are changing. That shift that's happening is not gonna be pretty per se. You know, do you understand what I'm saying? Like it feels. I think that the people who benefit from things being the way they are, if you're talking about like, you know what I'm saying? I think that the way that the country is changing, that shift feels like a loss in power, and it is, but it's a healthy loss in power if demographics are changing. Then the demographics of those in power need to change to reflect the demographics of the people. And that shift hurts. Does that make sense? That shift hurts. To lose that power hurts people. So, like, I think that that's, like, why things are kind of like the way they are
also,
right now.
like, you know, you think of weapons of mass destruction, right? Like, that's already out to a lot of the world, right? Whereas vaping, you look at that and you're like, okay, well, it's fairly new. So maybe it's something we can stop before it gets to the point of like where we're at. But you know what I mean? It's like,
I'm going to be 100% with you, man.
Go, bro. Go.
Vaping hurts the tobacco industry.
Yeah.
Not the tobacco industry. It hurts, like, it's... I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid.
Hey, we're on the exact same
I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid.
Oh,
but,
shit.
You know, it is what it is. Shout out to, you know, again.
Shout out, you know.
Rest in peace to those who've been hurt by vapes.
You know, you have like a series of crazy talk. I love your Twitter, bro. For the record, I love Kelechi's Twitter, @Kelechi.
@Kelechi. Yo, I just be saying whatever. Thing is, I don't wild out, but I just be saying whatever on Twitter.
Well, you know, like, I think you made like a really funny but very sensible case when it came to white rappers in the industry and how like white rap could be a subgenre.
Okay, cool. Let's make it clear. I never talked about white rappers.
You talked about white rap.
White rap. See, and that's the point I was trying to make. White rap, which a lot of rappers who I consider white rappers or white rap rappers. That's what I mean to say.
White people rap white rap.
Okay, wait. Let's just wipe the slate real quick. There's white rap, and then there are white rap artists. And then there's just white rappers. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. I think he was just a rapper. He was white. You know what I'm saying? And then there's some rappers who make white rap. And it has this, like, texture to it, or lack thereof. There's this certain production style. There's a lot of lyrical miracles. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of talking about saving hip hop from these clowns. Like, there's a lot of like that, like very, and not all the guys who do that are white. You feel me?
Okay,
you understand what I'm saying?
Okay,
but like that's a type of rap that like white rappers kind of like. There's all these tropes. Exactly. So it's like this weird like, you know, and some of them are black. Some of them, you know what I'm saying? And some of them, they're all different shades of white
all
rap
different
rappers.
colors. They just so happen to
make white
rap.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
So obviously, I think the umbrella of all this is definitely Eminem.
I think that Eminem is clearly. And here's the thing. Let me start this by saying Eminem is one of the greatest of all time. Eminem 100%. Is an excellent rapper, and like I would never diss Eminem. What I think that what falls under it is a lot of people taking shallow parts of who Eminem is and then making caricatures of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like very low-hanging fruit things about Eminem, like rapping fast or saving hip-hop and being a real rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like Eminem is a much more nuanced character than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like they take these very easy things and then apply those tropes to who they are. To their shit. And that's what I think is corny. I don't think Eminem as an artist, as a whole, you know what I'm saying? Like Eminem is a 20-something year history in his game. Like he's
this guy's crazy.
He's wildly good.
He's one of the most legendary.
Eminem has made some of the best hip hop music of all time. So, but some white rappers take a lot of shit from Eminem.
And then create
some corny shit from it. Like,
I love this conversation.
Yeah, it's just what they do. They just be doing that shit.
Oh man. Well, let's get back on track to like Kelechi and the life of Kelechi, right? So then you end up doing like the Mountain Dew thing, and then I think you ended up getting like what, $50K off of that?
Yeah, and that again, another thing that just happened that I like couldn't really control. Super lucky though. 1 second.
Yeah.
That was what funded and like got before the quarter going, and it was. So Mountain Dew had this contest called like the Open Call Contest. I didn't even enter. UConn entered. He told me to enter. I think he told me to enter for like 2 weeks. He was like, "Yo, put a thing in that contest." I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And it just was like, "Fuck it," you know.
Yeah.
Like, "Yo, put it in." I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." He told me, and he just did it. Then he hits me up, "Hey, yo, we finalists for this contest." I was like, "All right, cool. That's what's up." I still didn't care. Yo, we're like finalists for this contest. All right, cool. That's what's up. And then we started getting into it. We're like, oh shit, we actually might win this thing. Then we won. And then Mountain Dew brings us out to South by. You know, that was my first South by experience. That's where I met Rob, who did the whole link me up with Sway and everything. It was a cool start. And that was like the beginning. And then after that, things just got weird. Like, because it was like I don't know. Once you're doing something like that with a corporation, you realize, like there's
music's
rules.
a business.
It's a business, and there's rules and like there's like corporate brand like ways and means that they have to do things, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool. You realize things are not as. It's just not as like. It's
not just like let's make a song and then drop it the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Things just like there's chain of command. There's just like things are just different. But the blessing there was I was in a position to where I could just do just music. So that's when I quit my job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Exactly. So like I didn't immediately quit it, but like I quit it going off of that. Like I thought that like, okay, cool, we go to South by. Let me tell a story about quitting T-Mobile so you can get. So I had won the contest, and then we were going to South by. I had told my manager I needed to be in, go to South by, and it was like this new manager, and he was like, oh, well, no one, like all those off days are taken, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I call another store and just had someone else cover my shift. He got upset that I went over his head, and then I got, let go. But he was like, I was like, I'm going to, Texas, whether you say I can or not. He was like, well, if you come back and I come back to a job, cool.
Perfect. No
problem. No problem. So I go to Texas, and then like I did Free the People. Chance had did a showcase at South by, and we did that show. And I was supposed to come home to go back to work. I was supposed to go home and go back to work.
Okay.
So I did that show instead of going back on that day because like we were just out there, and Pat was like, yo, do the show. I was like, all right, cool. Anyway, so that was the first South by we did then. And that came from like the Mountain Dew thing and everything. And then like I was under the impression I thought I was gonna have my job for longer, didn't. So I just had that money I was floating on, which I was also supposed to be like investing in making this album.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just like a long, very it was all over. It was like really super all over the place. But yeah, like it just.
But then I saw you ended up investing that $50K. Like all of that. Did all of that go towards your album?
Like contractually, I had to spend it on making the album. That's the part I talk about. Like there's these like fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Like there's those rules and regulations. So it's
like you had the money, but you didn't actually like.
It had to go into.
I mean, honestly, I think that was it was a blessing in disguise because what ends up happening is that like, you know, artists will get signed to like a label, get like a $50,000 advance, and then just blow it on some shit.
Well, the thing is, when I say I had to go into the album though, and this is the weird thing with it being with, like Mountain Dew is a soda company, so they don't understand the music business. So they're like, if you put $50,000 into like making an album, it's gonna do great. But it's like a lot of money has to go into marketing, a lot of money has to go into, you know. Like socials and like PR and things like that, all that shit. Like making the content isn't supposed to be the biggest expense. Like putting it out there is the biggest expense. But like we just made it. Like, you know, so I had this very expensive, very expensive album with no way of pushing it. The way it all got pushed was all through those organic relationships, doing shit with.
Wow.
Yeah, there was not a penny of promotion put into it before the quarter. Not a penny. It all went into making the album. Yeah.
Okay, so
which is why I didn't go.
That's so wild.
It's weird. It's very weird. Yeah. But we learned a lot of shit. We learned just making a good album is not the answer to making an album that's commercially successful. It's not just about making it good. Of course, make it good because you care. But like, there's so many other things. And like when that album, to me, fell flat on its face. To everyone else, it was like their introduction to me, and I'm like grateful for that. But it didn't do what I thought. So we took that to this time to really regroup and understand what the industry was and like how to successfully roll out an album.
Yeah, because I guess like, you know, the way I was thinking prior to this conversation was that like you had $50K to like basically like mold and build like the album that was before the quarter, but then like for the projects following that, you don't have that $50K.
I didn't have that
anymore.
Exactly.
So then like how did
they become more successful?
Yeah, exactly. How did like your other albums become more successful without having that $50K to use on those projects?
Well, real fans. I got real fans from before the quarter. People who saw me. I toured with Wale, like a few shows with Wale. I toured with Chance a few shows. Like I did those, and like through just real people. Like I have a core fan base of real people. So that carried me to the next thing, which they just tell their friends this drop. But then it's also we realize we need to just put more resources into just like the content and promotion. Like before the quarter just kind of dropped, Quarter Life Crisis, I made sure I had a creative way of what the album was and what it meant, and I created a community around it, and like doing that compounded upon the community that was created with the first one. And I think that there's people who like find me at different projects and just like go from each one to each one because I really make these songs about my life. Like I really make them about, like if you listen to my albums, like you pretty much know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the content being as personal as it is, in combination with figuring out how to roll out an album after failing it the first time, but like just taking the better and better parts from each.
I know, I feel you. Well, that's why like even in terms of like branding, like the rest of your projects kind of like correlate with.
They all swim into each other.
They're all swimming, and I'm just like, you know, for me, like being somebody as a fan of you for like the past 3 years, I'm just like, you kind of just. Like the way I see albums now, like people kind of take like sections of their life and like, you know, kind of like separate it. But then I'm looking at your projects as kind of like I feel like I'm literally watching you.
You can.
You know what I mean? Because and you also spell it out because like Quarter Life Crisis. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like now it's winter. Now it's spring.
Exactly.
Now you have the hot boy summer. I'm just like
and that's exactly. And I want to be able to, because the coolest thing about the reason Jay-Z will always be the GOAT is because he's gotten to this like point that he's created the story, the Jay-Z story, you know, Tata, you know, Emery Jones, you know these characters, all these people in this narrative that he's built. You understand that he got the hottest chick in the game, wearing his chain. Like, you know this shit about Jay-Z, and there's all these people who play characters from, and he's played a different character. You know what I'm saying? And you've seen him grow, and it's just because he just talked about his life. Yeah. You know, like, he probably doesn't even feel like his experiences are that insane, but they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, the things that happen to me, like, I always say, oh, it's the wildest shit ever, but I'll say it with a straight face because, like, everything is the wildest shit ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is crazy. Like,
it's just a matter of, like, who on the other side is like, yo, that shit was wild.
Exactly. So, like, if you're just, like, authentic and just talk about your life, you'll find a cool way to string it together. Jay-Z's albums blend and tell this long story, this narrative. And, like, that's what I take from him and Kanye and Drake, like, really good at just telling these long, long stories because they're just talking about their lives.
Well, that's why, too, like, if you listen to, like, old-ass Drake albums, like, you'll notice that he's talking about industry shit.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. And especially, so in the industry, that's why, like, when people like Drake, I'm like, all right, cool, you like Drake, but I don't think you really get it. Because, like, when you're in it, you kind of get what he's talking about from a different perspective. Like, Underground Kings, I played that all summer because, like,
with an MGK on it?
With UGK?
Or UGK.
It has a UGK sample.
Sample.
Yeah. And it's so... The shit he's talking on that song is so real to, like, I'm just about to be on. Like, and every rapper feels like they're just about to be on. You know what I'm saying? And those feelings that he talks about there, like, I feel them in such a real way that I'm like, yo, that shit's kind of tight. Like, I know he's just talking about his life. And that's what the realest artists do. The artists who go for a long time and, like, create cool stories. Yeah, they're just talking about their lives.
So, you know, like, you've been at it for, like, 3 years is, like, when you, like, first marked your album, but then you've been at it for, like, such a long time.
More than
like,
half my life.
A long-ass time, bro. Like, how do you not get tired?
Because I love this shit. Because I love this shit. Like, it's the coolest shit to do. I love making music. I love making songs. I love making albums. I love creating I just like doing it. 50 Cent was talking about how after he closed, like, that vitamin water deal, like, he, like, celebrated. They're, like, partying and shit. And then he said the next night he went to the studio. Because, like...
Yeah.
Because, like, he was like, nothing was better than the feeling. He was like, it was like several $100 million. And that wasn't as good as the feeling of making in the club. He was like, I'm still chasing that feeling.
Crazy.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm just doing this because I love doing it. Like, that's the only reason. I know I can make money from it, and I have to make money. We live in capitalism. If I don't make money from it, I'll die. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I have to do this because I just love doing it.
Yeah, because I think people need to realize that the music industry, you make little to no money at all. But you know that but that's when, like,
your favorite rappers are broke.
Yeah.
Most of your favorite rappers are broke.
But that's when, like, the 50 cents come in and you're like, okay, like, with this money that I have, I'm going to invest it in, like, other ventures that can make me money.
Yeah, so that he can do the shit he likes doing. I bet 50 Cent probably has so much music because he just loves making music. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he might not be dropping shit all the time, but, like, he just loves doing it. Like, that's it.
So what I heard, Dr. Dre, right? I heard Dr. Dre owns a studio that's, like, underneath this water bridge.
That sounds like some Dr. Dre shit.
It sounds like some very Dr. Dre shit, right? And he has maybe, like, 4 or 5 producers underneath his belt that just work in that studio.
That's hilarious.
What he does is, and this is all alleged, this is everything that I just heard, right? Legend. Like, I heard that he ends up breaking off $10K to all the producers for every beat that he likes, and these beats never see the light of day. And I'm just like, what?
Just because?
Just because. And, you know, the reasoning from the person who I heard it from was just that, bro, he just loves it. It's just his passion.
And
I'm
he
like,
just can't.
Fuck, bro.
I guess
and he
so.
can't just
break
like, off 10K
10
per
bands
beat,
is
like,
nothing
bro.
to Dr. Dre.
Nah,
so, like, I
no.
guess so, yeah. Like, 100%. Go for it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it goes away. I don't think no matter how much money you get, no matter how long you've been, if you love it, you love it, you love it.
Yeah.
You just can't not do it.
Man, I hope to break off 10K to whoever the fuck for, like,
hey, man,
whatever the fuck.
I would love to. I would love to just make it, you know what I'm saying, break off some bands for people. Get it cracking.
So, you know, speaking of your brand, right, The Standard, how did that come about?
Me and Faye did the Standard EP together. That was,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was originally the name of. It was kind of like our rap group, but then it just kind of became like this collective type thing that was just like me and him.
So we're getting even closer to the name of the rap group.
We'll get there, yeah. Nah.
Wait, was Faye in that rap group?
No?
Okay.
He wasn't. But yeah, it was just like that's where everything came from. Like, it's still Standard shit. Like that's just like family now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But like it came together when me and Faye had did the Standard EP. In 2011 or 2010.
Jesus Christ.
And we just just kind of became like a lifestyle brand. We was rocking it all the time. But it's now like the company all my music shit runs through.
Got you.
So like, but like it just kind of started out as what we started it out as was like the conglomerate, the family.
So do you have hopes of like creating, you know, making the standard into like something bigger than just like the music company that holds all your music?
I mean, we're gonna get into merch soon, so we'll have merchandising. I know, I mean, UConn has his aspirations of doing like A&R, because people don't realize he A&R'd me. You know what I'm saying? He's my like main A&R. So like he wants to do that with other artists and help other artists. So like we'll probably move that through Standard and do it that way. Standard Media, if we ever get into video, like we have it all on lock if we ever want to.
Yeah, man.
It's just a trigger to pull.
You gotta create the standard to be like as big as possible.
Yeah, it'd be like some Rock Nation shit.
Yeah, man.
If I want to, like, who cares?
Shit, I believe it, bro. I 100% believe it, man.
But yeah.
You know, so the last thing I actually want to ask you is, and I had to creep on UConn's Instagram for this question.
Oh man, I don't know where. I have no clue.
Well, UConn doesn't even know what the fuck I'm about to say.
I have absolutely no idea what you're about to say.
All right, Odessa, Texas.
Okay.
There's a photo of you on UConn's Instagram with you, Black Youngsta, and YFN Lucci.
I think that's on my Instagram too. I think so.
Well, see, his Instagram was a lot easier to dig through because you be posting hella shit. UConn, I was like, I'm bound to find something on UConn's, right?
Interesting. Okay, cool.
And so I think the caption said something like, Kelechi will 100% put this night on a verse. I need to know what happened that night. And before you answer that, I am going to plug in my charger for this laptop because it's currently at 5%.
So it doesn't die. Yeah, it'd be wild if it died. Yeah. Man, what happened that night? What didn't happen that night? I mean, we did a show. We just did a show. We also had we had dinner with me and Black Youngster and another one of our friends and like the promoters and stuff. Mm-hmm. Black Youngster was there. Have you ever met do you know a lot of country people?
No.
So like every once in a while, and this always happens, you'll meet a country person and they like they shit playing. And I always can spot it before it happens. So I saw Black Youngster and I was like, he seems like one of those country people who like they shit plain. Like the people who are like, I want a burger but just like ketchup and pickles. And like just very plain food. Like there's I meet country, like very picky country eaters.
I thought you meant like country music, but you meant like people like from the
country, like Black Youngster country. Like anyway, so he we got Mexican. He got like very basic food. He also got his. He'll tell you this. He also got his fork and spoon in a plastic. He didn't want to fuck with their silverware. But nah, he's super dope. Yeah. He's such a tight dude. Like he's really cool. Like we talked about different ways of saving money, taxes, shit. We talked about Teslas. Fucking, we talked about. All right. Cause like we were just talking about like all the shit a Tesla can do. I was like, yeah, it has like the sonar, like the crash avoidance or whatever.
I drive a 2014 Hyundai Elantra Verla. I don't even
have a car. I don't even have a car. I'm just into tech shit. But we were just talking about it in conversation. He was like, "How much one of them?" It's like probably like they start at like 80 for a Model S. He was like, they got them out here. I might give me one out here. like, I might just pick up a Tesla. Yeah. I'm just out, and I might just pick up a Tesla right now. Yeah, but yeah, we hung out with him. We had lunch with him, and then we did the show. The show was dope. You know what I'm saying? It was just it was a really cool night. Yeah, it was just like
it sounds like one of those
Yo Gotti FaceTimed him while we were there. It was just like, oh shit.
Nothing short of like a legendary night.
It was just one of those nights. It's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna forget this. This is just cool.
Yeah,
it was tight. Lucci was cool. Everybody was cool. Shout out to Black Youngster. Shout out to YFN Lucci.
Shout out to them, man. And last couple string of questions I'm finna ask you, right? Like, so, I mean, I know you talk a lot with like Pat the manager too, right? Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know how you're gonna answer this. I have no idea what you're gonna ask. I thought of this question like in the midst of the conversation.
It's always funny to me whenever anyone asks me about someone else, I always just nervous laugh because like it scares me to talk about other people. Like I don't know.
But like I guess talk about like how did that relationship form?
This is the best story ever. I'm glad you asked this question.
There we go.
Yeah. Pat. So I've been friends with Pat since almost before, I think a little bit before he managed Chance. Like we've been friends for a super long time.
Okay.
In like 2011, he had his blog, Pat and Eric. Shout out to Eric Montanez. He had a blog called SBG, which was like See Beyond Genre. They just started it from college.
Mm-hmm.
I think I found it randomly just on the internet, and I just sent them music because that's just what I was doing. That was my music career, was make songs, email them to blogs. That's just what all I did.
It's a good career. No, seriously.
Yeah, which
that's
in
retrospect,
yeah. So Pat was just a kid in college. I was just a kid in college. I emailed him some songs. They just thought that was dope, and then we just became friends. We were cool. I would send them music. I think that their blog had like sponsored one of my early tapes back when I was Submit. So like I'm in Pat's phone as Submit. I'm not even in his phone as Kelechi.
No, you're not.
Dead ass. Like that's how long I've known him. But yeah, so there's old MySpace messages of either Eric or Pat just hit me up and be like, "Yo, what do you think of this kid?" And it's Chance. Like we're thinking about, you know what I'm saying? Like
that is
weird. Crazy. So yeah, but it's just we've been friends for like almost 10 years now. Bro, that's just my guy.
That's so weird. Yeah.
Pat's my homie, and we're.
You know, and I don't want to even relate it back to our relationship, but it's kind of like
it's weird.
It's weird when you just have like internet friends, and you never really know where these relationships
where they're gonna go or who people are gonna become. But
yeah,
like I think that people who are just cool just link up. They just find ways to just meet each other. Yeah,
and I think it's cool, you know, considering Pat, the manager, manages Chance, the rapper.
Yeah,
still sees you as Submit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like. And I guess in that point too, like you kind of have like a good compass when it comes to people who are just like as like-minded as you. Like you see somebody like Pat who doesn't get big-headed off like who Chance is.
At all. You know, like, yeah, it goes in each direction. Like I think that Pat, like I a lot of times forget who he is in that sense, like that he manages biggest independent artist in the world. Like I don't think of him like that's my homie. Like that's just Pat.
Oh, God,
you know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
And then like in that same sense, Pat sees me as like he sees me as like a star. Like he doesn't even. It's no, but like in like I was a guy who made music he liked, so he fucked with me. You know what I'm saying? Like Pat's like a fan, and I forget it because.
Yeah,
you know, and not even in like a bad way. Like,
you forget it because you guys were just legitimately just friends,
you know, and it's so funny. Like there was a song I had sent him a long time ago, and this isn't like to take credit for anything, but like this is just like it was a song called "Price of Practicality," and I didn't know this until earlier this year, but I made the song in like 2012. Mm-hmm. He listened to it and he was like, "Yo, this song like this is like why a lot of why I started doing what I'm doing with like Chance and like you know what I'm saying." Shit. Like. And
That's
but like
crazy.
In my head, I had always almost like because of whatever like dwarfed myself in like view with Pat. Like, oh yeah, he probably like the little homie, but he doesn't view me that way. It was just like like no, like this shit helped me get to where I'm at. Like, and I've had all this like inspiration and energy that I've gotten from them, not realizing I was feeding that back, or that I had helped start. And he was giving me credit for it. It was really a oddly humbling. Yeah, it was an oddly humbling experience. He was like, yo, like bigging me up. Like, no, this shit helped me, bro. Like it really helped me. It was the tightest. It was like super cool.
So
it was really tight.
So he's not gonna condense it, but I'm gonna condense it to where basically Kelechi inspires the movement of
I made
Chance the
Pat
Rapper.
who he is what I'm trying to say. Is Pat wouldn't be nobody without me. Don't speak on my name. Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah. That's like my brother. That's my guy.
So, possibility of any music. Any Kelechi featuring Chance the Rapper or vice versa?
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't say no, but like I'm not gonna do the rapper thing and be like, "Hey, coming soon." What's up to my man Chance? We need to get one
in the future, bro.
Chance is like a super duper famous dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm not saying it won't happen though. We see each other here and like he knows me. You know what I'm saying? Like so,
chill.
It'll happen when the time's right. In the same way everything else happens when the time's right. So.
And the reason why you're in LA, other than doing this lunch table interview, music video. What was the music video for?
So it's like a short film for a EP that's coming out before the album. And the EP is called Going Home. See, I'm telling you, man.
And he did it while he was in LA.
I'm telling you, man. I like that,
man.
There's always some thought going on behind what I be doing. But yeah, So yeah, it's called Going Home, and we'll drop the EP and the short film at the same time. It kind of doesn't exactly tell the story of the EP. The EP kind of tells its own story, but the short film is a cool kind of like motif or an expression of like all the kind of ideas that are in it. So it's cool. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so EP's coming out what? 2019.
Soon as the film's done, because the whole EP is done, but we wanted to get the
that was borderline rapper shit. You know, it's coming soon.
Yeah, 3019. Nah, the EP will probably be out in like less than a month, maybe 2.
Okay.
So probably I'll say before the end of November. Let me say before the end of November.
Okay.
On the EP.
Well, luckily this interview is coming out way before the end of November.
Exactly. So you'll be able to check me on it if I don't, but I will.
And then the new album,
285.
285? Why 285?
Because 285 is the interstate that goes around Atlanta.
The central one, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That connects.
It goes the border. Yeah, exactly. And it connects all the different branches of the city.
Damn, going home and then 285.
Going home and it's almost like it all. Man, and the 285 concept is, we'll talk about it. When I come back after that, we'll talk about it, and there'll be an even bigger conversation there. But yeah, 285 coming soon, going home coming sooner.
There we go.
Yeah.
Kelechi, where can everybody find you, man?
On everything, Kelechief, Kelechief. Kelechi on Spotify, on Apple Music. All my music is everywhere. Go get it. You know what I'm saying?
Go get it, man. Listen to every album.
Honestly, yeah. Every single, it's all fire. Like, every single thing is tight. So,
can I tell you my
favorite? I wouldn't
even
suggest just go to my Spotify and listen to some shit. It's all good.
My favorite song from you would have to be Bag.
That's so tight. That's a good favorite song.
Seriously, and it's because, song. Like, I remember I was listening to it when I was driving to Anaheim, which is probably like an hour out, and I was tired as shit. And then I turned that record on, and I'm just like, bag on my shoulder, bag under my eyes. I was like,
wild,
oh, fuck. I was like, oh, hell no. And, exactly. Just the concept of, like, there's so many different types of bags
that you
can
gotta get to, or that you gotta get away from, whatever it is.
I'm telling you, man, this guy's a lyrical genius.
I'm out
Don't
here,
sleep.
Man.
Kelechi.
Greatest of all time.
This is 100%. This is the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz, Kelechi, and we're out, everybody. Yay!